Good morning, everyone. About 9:45 on a Thursday morning. Jumping on. Just got back from our trip down to Charlotte and Martinsville a couple days ago. Been doing some catch up and trying to get things squared away. So jumping on now to go ahead and review the Martinsville weekend. Look ahead to Rockingham coming up this weekend. That action gets going tomorrow, so I'll do the preview of those races today because it starts tomorrow at about 11 o'clock. Things get cranked up over there in Rockingham. Really cool track. We're in a kind of a stretch of nickname tracks here for NASCAR. Most of them have a nickname, but previous week we went to the Egg, Darlington, South Carolina, and then we went to the Paperclip, as you noticed by my hat, in Martinsville. Now we're off to the Rock. After that, then we go down to what I consider to be one of the best tracks on the circuit, which is Bristol Motor Speedway down in Bristol, Tennessee. That's known as the last great Coliseum, the Thunderdome. That thing's got so many nicknames, it's not even funny. But it's an amazing racetrack. So without any further ado here, we'll jump into our review of the O'Reilly Auto Parts race. The Truck Series was off last weekend, so we won't have any, obviously, review of them, except that they all took a break and did whatever they want, fish, whatever. But on the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, we had kind of what was expected. Justin Allgaier has just been on fire here lately. They've raced, I think, 6 races, and he's won 3 of them, much like Tyler Reddick on the Cup Series. Austin Hills won 1, Sheldon Creed's won 1, and Kyle Larson won 1 when he dropped down from the Cup Series to race. But other than that, it's been Allgaier, and it's been just dominating. He led, the first 65 laps, had the pole, led the first 65 laps, wound up, shuffling around, of course, like you will through pit stops and strategies and things like that, but then wound up leading again for the last 26 and led some other laps in between there too, but just more of a dominating experience. Lee Pull, I want to say his name is Pulliam or Pullum. Sorry for the pronunciation of your last name. I'm sure I messed it up, but he was making his first start. Done a lot of races at Martinsville in other series, but was making his first O'Reilly start here and literally drove up to the front and led laps. Really impressive. Came down to the end of the race. He was starting on the front row and missed a shift. And that's going to happen. I mean, Cup Series drivers miss shifts. Everybody, it happens. You're on older tires. You're trying not to spin your tires. He missed a shift, and it caused a 19-car pileup that took out a bunch of contenders. But give the man credit. First thing, when asked in the post-race interview, his first comment was, I need to apologize to everybody who we tore up. He said, it's on me. It was a lack of experience. I was trying not to spin the tires. I missed the shift, and it wound up costing a bunch of people. So, it happens. It's not like it was anything intentional. Still, he came home in 5th. So, still a good day for your first attempt. But Justin Allgaier was the class of the field in this race, and it was pretty much as expected with that. He's just so good he's such a good driver. And that being said, we'll get into how good of a driver he is here in a few minutes and tell you, it'll kind of give you an idea of how different the O'Reilly's cars are versus the Cup Series. Because he races in the Cup Series too right now. I don't know what's going to go on. I know he's going to race at Bristol in the Cup Series, filling in still for Alex Bowman, who's still recovering from vertigo. So we know he's going to drive at Bristol. But for somebody to be that dominant in the O'Reilly series, we'll get to his finish here in a minute in the Cup series. Looking at the results, we're just going to break through the top 10 here. And of course, Justin Allgaier came home first, led 114 laps. Also had the fastest lap of the race, which gets you a bonus point towards your point standings. Corey Day was second, Sammy Smith third, Sheldon Creed, Lee Pulliam finished fifth. He led 40 laps. Like I said, that's pretty impressive. Austin Hill sixth, Dean Thompson seventh, Ross Chastain, a drop from the Cup Series, racing in it, finished eighth, which was really impressive considering he started 38th, started last on the field, and drove his way up to eighth. Ryan Sieg was ninth, and Brent Cruz was finished in the 10th position. So that was your top 10. Some other notable names that people will know from this series: Jesse Love wound up 12th. Brandon Jones 18th. Let's see, anybody else? Sam Mayer 23rd. I think he was involved and got a little contact in that 19-car pileup. But that 19-car pileup did hold about a 30-minute red flag to clean it up. So Carson Kvapil was involved in the wreck. He finished 28th. Really about it for names down the list, just kind of sporadically thrown in. So again, Justin Allgaier is just, on a whole different level right now. And we'll see how it goes this week over in Rockingham. Shifting attention to the Cup Series. This was the race I was actually at. Me and my wife went to this race. And began to think at the beginning of the race we were going to see kind of a stink fest from Denny Hamlin. Just pure total domination from Hamlin. But like normal, same issues but same thing that happened last year at Phoenix in the championship race. Just Alan Gustafson and Chase Elliott made a strategy call that instead of splitting the last stage into thirds, or instead of splitting it into two, they were going to split the last stage into thirds. So they pitted early. Nobody else did, which gave them the advantage of fresh tires. They kept moving along, coming up a little bit. And then a caution fell at the exact time they needed. And they were able to come in and pit with everybody else and get tires for the last run to the end. And he was able to get ahead. And at that point, it was just a matter of maintaining the race. And Chase Elliott did it. And he beat Hamlin by 0.5 of a second. So it just looked like Denny Hamlin was going to just dominate. Won the first stage, won the second stage, and then a great pit call is really what it came to. A pit call that Alan Gustafson took a chance, and it paid off. In another world, there's a chance that it doesn't pay off, and Chase finishes outside the top 10. But you just don't know. You don't know when the yellows are going to fall. You know when two are going to happen between the stage breaks. Other than that, you don't know. So it's all a gamble, and it paid off. So kudos to that team for winning. Obviously, with Chase being NASCAR's most popular driver, it was a very popular win amongst the fans in the stands. That's for sure. And even walking back out of the track to the car, you just hearing people yelling about Chase Elliott and how great he is. So, it's just a big, it's a big win for everybody that's a Chase Elliott fan or a Hendrick Motorsports fan, because that's their first win of the season. So now all manufacturers have at least one win. Ford and Chevy have one, and Toyota has the rest. So Toyota's got 5, Ford's 1, Chevy's 1. The little controversy that came out of this was in the third stage, coming out of turn 4, actually, probably 100 yards from where we were sitting. You saw Chase. There was an incident with Bubba Wallace and Carson Hocevar, and it was hard to see live because it happened kind of in the corner. But pretty much, Bubba Wallace just drove through Carson Hocevar. There's no way around it. Earlier on the lap, going into lap 1, Hocevar put it 3 wide, which is really tight at Martinsville. And Bubba was not appreciative of it. And then when they got to turn 4, he bumped him once to kind of, I guess, let him know, but then decided that wasn't good enough. And it just looks like he just drove straight through him. The announcer said it. Everybody said it. Of course, Bubba came out in his little interview and said he misjudged the corner. But, that's typical race speak for, yeah, I did it, but I can't say I did it. So let me come up with this. A lot of drivers say it's not just a Bubba Wallace thing. So you've heard it from numerous people. Oh, I misjudged the corner, or I thought I was clear, or, well, so just race speak. It happens. Have to keep an eye on that to see if there's anything coming back towards Bubba from Carson Hocevar. But it was pretty, if you watch the replay, it was pretty legit that he just straight up turned him on purpose, and it caused a big pileup. But that pileup had nothing to do with the results of the race. This was going to be a Denny Hamlin, which wound up being Chase Elliott, win. But on a good note for my race team, the Wood Brothers number 21 car, Josh Berry had a good solid run, finished 17th the previous week at Darlington, and turned that in and followed that up with a 10th place run in Martinsville. Also got stage points in both stages, finished 3rd in stage 1 and 10th in stage 2. So much needed points. He was the biggest mover of the point standings, and we'll get into that here in just a few minutes. We'll go. That was our Cup Series review. Let's go look at the point standings. And we'll start in the O'Reilly Series. We'll start with the Craftsman Truck, even though they didn't race, because they are racing this weekend. So we'll look at their point standings first. You've got Chandler Smith, followed by Caden Honeycutt, Lane Riggs, Gio Ruggiero, Ty Majeski, Kristen Eckes, Ben Rhodes, Corey Hine, Andres Perez, and Justin Haley are your top 10. Top 10 in the Cups in the Truck Series make the chase. So as of right now, those are your chase participants. Names missing from it that are pretty impressed that are normally up in there. Somebody like a Grant Enfinger, Stuart Friesen. Here's the somebody's fan favorite with Frankie Munoz from Malcolm in the Middle. That's literally who it is. Other than that, most of the names down here are not ones you would project to make the playoffs. And I wouldn't expect Frankie to make the playoffs either, to be honest. But like Brendan Queen is right outside of it. Tyler Ankrum, who was good in the playoffs last year. Now it's the chase, but the playoffs last year. These are people that are right outside. So, there's still a good distance to go. The chase begins after race 18 in the Truck Series. They take a few more weeks off than your Cup and O'Reilly Series. So that's where we sit with the Truck Series. One bit of news coming out of the Truck Series before we move on. Daniel Dye was suspended a couple of weeks ago indefinitely for some comments made while they were in Phoenix about an IndyCar driver. And I'm not going to go into all the specifics. If you want to look it up, you can look it up. I'm just not going to get into why. But he did what NASCAR wanted him to do. They reinstated him for immediately. And the only problem with that is Colleague Racing, who he races for, and Dodge, the manufacturer, decided that they needed to part ways with him. So he's a veteran of the series. He's only 22, 23 years old. So he made a mistake. It happens, but now it's a matter of he's got to try to figure out a ride. Corey LaJoie is going to take over that truck permanently for the rest of the season. And then they'll reassess after the season. But that's their goal right now, is Corey LaJoie to run that truck. So we're going to see how this all plays out, see if Daniel Dye gets a ride somewhere or what he's going to have to do. But just something to keep an eye on out of the truck series there. So we'll keep an eye on that. And it's going to be the number 10 truck that Corey LaJoie is going to be driving. Jumping over to the O'Reilly standings. Now the top 12 in this series make the chase after race 24. So see, there's 6 more races. And of course, leading the points, no surprise, Justin Allgaier. Not even, really close right now. He's got a 92-point lead over second place. Sheldon Creed sits in third. Austin Hill 4th. Carson Kvapil 5th. Sammy Smith 6th. Corey Day 7th. Followed by Brandon Jones, Parker Retzloff, Roger Caruth is your 10th place. Sam Mayer and Taylor Gray would round out your right now your points, your chase participants. Trying to see if we've got any other names that are kind of big down at the bottom that need to make a run pretty quick. Your Nick Sanchez, Harrison Burton, but really, it's just kind of a matter of who's going to be able to sneak into that 12th position. Taylor Gray has it right now, and he's got a 20-point lead over 13th. So 20-point lead is nothing with that many races to go. That's 1 or 2 races. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it as it plays out through the season there. Looking at our Cup Series standings, not much has changed at the top. Tyler Reddick, obviously, with 4 wins, is still dominating. Ryan Blaney had a good run last week, moved up to second in the points. He was in 4th, moved up 2 points. He is 82 points behind Tyler Reddick. So he's catching Tyler Reddick. It was a bigger gap than that. It's now a matter of, Tyler's going to have some serious mishaps for people to pass him. And it could happen. You've still got a ways to go. You've got 19 more races in the regular season, and the top 16 make the chase. So we went Reddick, Blaney. This is the weirdest one to me. Denny Hamlin moved up 20 positions to 3rd place. That's how dominant he was, because he got 20 points for the 2 stage wins and a 2nd place finish. He wound up, he's still 94 points behind Tyler Reddick, though. The weirdest one to me is Chase Elliott won the race and went backwards in the point standings. It was, Denny Hamlin jumping that many people. But yeah, he went from 3rd to 4th, even though he won the race. It's just weird how that worked out. But points, the way they pay out points. I mean, Hamlin got the 2 stage wins for 20. He got the fastest lap, which was, an extra point. So there's 21 plus a 2nd place finish. So that's, how quick you can jump when you're down near the bottom. He was in 23rd, obviously. William Byron went up 8 spots. Ty Gibbs went up 11. Christopher Bell went up 17. Brad Keselowski 8. Kyle Larson went up 6. Chris Buescher went up 1 point. And Bubba Wallace went down 9 due to the incident he had, which forced him to miss, quite a few laps. So Joey Logano finished, he went down to 12th place. Ryan Preece went up to 3rd place. Shane Van Gisbergen still hanging on. Had a couple of good runs at the beginning of the year, and he's holding on to them. Had a decent run at Martinsville. Shane needs to just kind of hold on until we get back to the road courses, and that's where his dominance will show. I fully expect Shane Van Gisbergen to make the chase based on the amount of road courses coming up. I just fully expect it. If he can hang where he is, if he has a bunch of like last place or 34th or whatever finishes coming up in the ovals, then potentially he could be in trouble. But I think he's going to be okay because I expect him to win 1 or 2 races on the road courses for sure. Carson Hocevar dropped 5. He can thank Bubba Wallace for that with the incident. Daniel Suarez dropped, and that's your 16th place car. Drivers just outside of the chase that are pretty well-known drivers. Austin Cindric is 18th. Ross Chastain is 19th. Chase Briscoe, who was in the final or championship 4 last year, is 21st. He's out. Kyle Busch, he's out. He's on a long losing streak right now. Not losing, but not winning streak, I guess. My driver, Josh Berry, is sitting 25th right now. So he's had a pretty good last couple of weeks to help boost him up a little bit. Let's see, any other big names down here? Obviously, Alex Bowman would be a big name, but with his vertigo issues and not driving, it's just not, working out. He's, I don't know, he just not racing, so he's not getting points. Even though Justin Allgaier is driving the car, he doesn't he doesn't get points because he's not in that series full time. So, going back to Justin Allgaier, how I mentioned he's dominating the O'Reilly series. If you go back and look for where he finished, he started 21st in the race at Martinsville, filling in for Bowman, and finished 22nd. So even as good as he is in the O'Reilly's car, it is such a different car that, he can't just jump in and run right up front with all these guys because it's just different. So that's where we sit with Allgaier. We'll shift attention to it. Was a good weekend. Lots of excitement. You had some craziness going on with the 2 wrecks late in the races. But we will shift focus and jump over. This week is going to be the first off week for the Cup Series. They have 2 off weeks this year. And this is going to be their off week. So going into Rockingham, very, very historic track from NASCAR. People love it. Obviously, it's nicknamed The Rock. It's a great racetrack for historical standards. It's another one that if the Cup Series goes back there, I'd like to go check out a race there. But, and it's not real far from where Martinsville is either. So, Truck Series, I'm going to have to go with some of the, the typical people. If Corey Heim, I don't think Corey Heim's racing in this one, but, your Chandler Smiths, your guys up front, Lane Riggs. I think Lane Riggs actually has done really well on this race last year, if he didn't even win it, maybe. But the Truck Series is, because they get so many breaks, it's kind of hard to build momentum with it. The race is the Black's Tire 250 tire shop out there, but your Chandler Smiths, Lane Riggs, Ty Majeski's, your normal people up front is pretty much what you're going to see when it comes to the Truck Series, just due to the simple fact that these are guys that are the big dogs in the sport at this level. Ty Majeski has been around. He's a champion of the sport, of the series. Um, you know, this is just Ben Rhodes. I would probably lean, if I'm leaning towards looking at a preview of this, I'm looking more at one of your Fords, either Smith, Riggs, Majeski, or Rhodes, to come out on top here. Again, I haven't seen an entry list. Well, speaking of which, it just came out. So let me refresh that. Corey Heim is racing in this race. So now my focus completely shifts. And I would take Corey Heim to win this. Because anytime Corey Heim is in a truck racing, betting against him at your own peril. He's just that good. He is the most dominant driver I've seen in a truck in a long time. Anytime you can win 12 races out of, what is it, 28? If you add in, well, it wasn't even that many last year. Yeah, it may have been 28. But 12 races last year. Anytime you do that, I don't care what you're racing. That's super impressive. So he's going to be in the mix. Majeski's going to be in the mix. He normally is at these style tracks. Lane Riggs is really good. So any of those are one I'd look for. But with Corey Heim being in the race, I think hands down you have to lean towards Corey Heim. So kind of what I'll give a preview there on. And we jump over to the O'Reilly series. I don't think we're going to have any Cup Series guys dropping down due to the fact that they are actually on break this week. Most of them are going to want to take the break and just kind of, breathe. Their next break comes in last week of July, first week of August, right in there. So, you figure we're April. They've got all of April, all of May, June, and all of July. So they're going to go, 4 months pretty much with no break. Then they get a break. And then I think they go 14 races straight to the end, including the chase. So scrolling through the list right now to see. I don't see any Cup Series guys dropping down. So, yeah, as expected, they're going to take the week off, spend it with family. It's Easter. The Cup Series pretty much normally takes Easter weekend off. There's been a few races on Easter, but it's normally dictated by how the season starts. To be honest, how the NFL season ends and where it ends. If it ends weird, then they normally will race on Easter. But normally Easter is a day off for NASCAR. So, you've got to watch Allgaier here. There's just nothing else about it. Allgaier is just on such a heater right now. But don't sleep on Sheldon Creed. Don't sleep on Carson Kvapil. He had a good car last week at Martinsville, but got tied up in that wreck at the end. So it's a matter of who can survive. But, if you're normally up front, you have a better chance of surviving than being stuck in the pack. So, somebody like an Allgaier, Sheldon Creed, Kvapil, William Swalich, Austin Hill, Jesse Love. Again, it's going to be your standards here. Yeah. All of them are pretty much, you have your favorites. It's just a matter of, does something go on? Can somebody jump up and bite them and take the win from them? Every series has them. Your Cup Series has it. That's what. But even though you have favorites, again, all it takes is one bad pit stop, one mistake, one speeding penalty on pit road, something like that, and you're mired in the back, and then guys start racing harder because it's near the end of the race, and the next thing you know, your car's torn up. Even though you may have led 100 laps out of a 150 lap race, you could get torn up in the last 50 and finish in 30th position. So there's no guarantees to it, but you do have favorites, and those are some of them. I'm really, really curious to see how that plays out. And I'm really watching Brent Cruz. Um, this was the kid who couldn't even race the first two races of the year at Daytona and Atlanta because he wasn't old enough. He was only 17. He just turned 18. I think Monday was his birthday. So now he's eligible to race every track. And I'm really curious what he can do. I want to see how does he handle the grind of a full season. I mean, I guess it's not a full season because he's missed two races, but luckily with the O'Reilly series is they do have more off weeks than the Cup series, so it will work out for him. But I want to see how he handles the strains of every week, just going after not being used to it. So that's kind of our preview, kind of a shorter preview this week since the Cup Series isn't racing. Didn't go too in depth. It's a great race. I'll give y'all the schedule of how things are going to go this weekend. So on load. So like I said, tomorrow at 11 a.m. you have practice for the truck series, the Craftsman Truck Series. You have practice at 11 and qualifying at 12. And then you turn around right after they're done qualifying and you go to practice and qualifying for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at 1:30 and 2:30. When that's over, you have about an hour break, and then the race kicks off at 4:30 p.m. on Friday afternoon for the truck series. And to give you channels, the truck series qualifying and practice will be on FS2 or the Fox Sports app. You can pretty well get anything there too. O'Reilly's will be on the CW app for practice and qualifying. And then the race, again, the Black's Tire 200 at 4:30, all these times are Eastern again, is going to be on FS1, the Fox app, or if you're in the car driving and you have Sirius XM, you can listen to it on Sirius XM channel 90, which is the NASCAR channel. One of my favorite channels, probably my favorite channel on there. Saturday, we do have another series racing out there. I didn't preview it because it's the ARCA Menard Series East. These are a lot of your younger drivers too. You'll get a lot of younger. You get some veterans mixed in there, but mostly it's younger kids trying to make a name to move up to the truck series. Sorry, I had to get a drink there. But on Saturday, they're going to have practice at 9 a.m. and qualify at 10. And then their race is going to be at 11:30 a.m. Again, you can listen to it on Sirius XM channel 90, or you can, if you have a smart TV like a Roku or whatever, and you go on and there's an app on there called Tubi. It's a free app. There is a NASCAR channel that is going to be broadcasting it. That channel is pretty cool. It shows a lot of old races. Normally from the track we're racing at that week, they'll show a bunch of classic races from that track leading up to it. And then it's on there. I want to say it's probably on YouTube. The NASCAR channel's on numerous different platforms, and it's free pretty much on all of those services. So just some other way to watch it if you want to watch it, the ARCA Menard series. And then at 2:30 after that race, those are very short races, by the way. At 2:30 Eastern on Saturday, you have the give a shout out to the sponsor, the North Carolina Education Lottery 250 presented by Black's Tires. That's a mouthful. That race is at 2:30. You again, Sirius XM channel 90, and it will be broadcast on CW. I have heard that CW, some markets carry the race, some markets don't. So, but if you have the CW app, it's pretty much going to be on there. if you want to keep up with the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. So you have numerous options to check in and watch it. And then we will bounce to, if you watch the preview going to Martinsville, I mentioned the world famous Martinsville hot dog. Now, I couldn't get to the actual dog stand on the infield. You'd need a pit pass. If you're going to go to Martinsville and you want to go to the dog stand on pit road down there, you need to get pit passes, not just a pre-race pass. The pre-race pass did not allow me to get down there to the dog stand, but they do sell them in the concession area. However, from what I was informed from the lovely receptionist lady, worker, I don't know her title, at the Wood Brothers Racing Museum, the ones at the dog stand are way better than the ones you get in the concession area. So my next adventure to Martinsville, I will be getting pit passes to go down and get that to see what the difference is. But for right now, I can only review what I had. I thought it was great. There's pictures going to be posted on my channels, YouTube, Patreon, TikTok, all under the same name, SEC Sean. But I'm going to have pictures and updates coming throughout the rest of this week and into next week. I've got tons of videos and pictures I need to post. So they'll be coming soon. There's already been some shorts posted on YouTube. But the hot dogs, you can get them however you want, custom, for $2 a hot dog. And they're not like your Oscar Mayer hot dogs. They have the red outer casing, the reddish casing. But you can get them for $2. You can get them all the way in bundles of, I got a bundle of 4, and I know that sounds crazy, but they're not huge hot dogs, y'all. They're they're not like bun length or foot longs or anything like that. They're just hot dogs. So I got a bundle of 4 with all the way, which came with mustard, onions, chili, and slaw. And when I say slaw, people kind of raise their slaw. Well, it's not a lot. It's just a couple little sprinkles. Didn't even really taste much of it. I thought they were good. Like I said, I got the bundle of 4. To be honest with you, food at a NASCAR track is very reasonably priced. If they don't try to gouge you. I got the 4 hot dogs, plus I bought a plain one for my wife, but she didn't want to try it because she's not a fan of the red colored hot dogs. And so I got the bundle of 4, the extra one plain, 2 20-ounce soft drinks, and a bag of popcorn. They called it the heap of popcorn. All of that for $25. That's normally one meal at any other sporting event. That's for one person's like chicken tender basket or something at a football game. And then my wife decided, since she didn't want the hot dog, she wanted they had a foot-long corn dog. And she said it was so good. They had sweet tea, lemonade, for those that don't want to indulge in adult beverages. I'll tell you this, the sweet tea was really, really phenomenal. You wouldn't think it would be at a racetrack, but no, it was good. And then she had a pretzel. When you get a pretzel at Martinsville, be careful if you don't like salt, because I think she got a little pretzel with her salt. That thing was loaded with salt. She liked it. She said it was really good, though. But she's speaking in the background and told me, yeah, well, I knocked off half the salt. So, which makes sense. They put a lot of salt because they want you to buy more drinks. But even the drinks, her big, and it was a big glass of sweet tea. That was only $8. That's normally, $12 at any other place. And then you have obviously you have your vendors with the beers and stuff, but you go, and I go to other sporting events, and they had all your main brands: Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light, whatever. Busch Light. Busch Light is the staple at NASCAR races. Um, the 16-ounce cans were all $8, so they weren't. It's not overly priced. It's a super inexpensive place if you were going to eat there. But you can also get you a cooler, a soft-sided cooler. Check specifications of the tracks before you go. Some let you take them in, some don't. Martinsville does. And if you take your cooler in, you can pack your own food, drinks, whatever kind of drinks you want in there. We've been in Bristol, Tennessee, and had guys pulling out little buzzball shots. We have people pulling out beers, whatever. So waters, it's just pack whatever you want in there, but check your local tracks before you go. Once you get your tickets, just go on and look at what you can bring, what you can't bring, things like that. Make sure you got the right dimensions and sizes. But other than that, we'll be going, probably going to jump on again tomorrow at some point and kind of go through the fan rewards and the fan experience that we had at Martinsville. Give a little quick synopsis of the ride along that my wife had purchased for me down in Charlotte. Give you some really good info on that so that you can make a great decision for yourself or whoever you're going to gift it for. So stay tuned for that. That'll probably go on sometime tomorrow in the morning around this same time. But if you notice down at the bottom, it's been scrolling through this whole show. There is a bunch of us here on the WTP Sports Dudes. And we've got, Robert at WTP for Life. We've got Mossberg at Level Up Sports 10. We've got Parlay Poe. We've got Post Game with the Post Game 86 podcast. Parlay Poe does the Blitzburg podcast. You got One Take Zaya, who just has all kinds of great takes on all kinds of different stuff. I still tell him he needs to change it to mini takes, but he likes one take. We got T1 with City League TV, which is on Facebook. Goes around, does a lot for the youth, basketball, baseball, whatever, sports around the Columbus market. Of course, I'm SEC Sean. I mentioned it earlier. You can find me TikTok. You can find me, obviously, YouTube. You can find me on Patreon, where we do giveaways for paid subscribers. We gave away our first one last night, was a signed Ryan Preece info card from the race this weekend. And an info card is not like a trading card, what you're thinking. This is just an example of an Austin-centric one. And on the back, it gives a bunch of details about them and stuff. So I have a few more of those signed. We'll be looking to give away for paid subscribers. And as we get more paid subscribers over there on the Patreon, we're going to bump up the valuation of what the giveaways are. So, stay tuned, tune in. I'm not looking to break anybody's budget by membership costs. They're very reasonable, probably too reasonable, to be honest, but it's not a big deal. I just want people to enjoy it and start following the sport that may not be following it and realize what they can get. But we'll be going tomorrow, and I'll lay out some of the fan experience, show off some of the free stuff we got, show off some of the go through the fan rewards to let y'all see where we're standing only 7 weeks into the season for the Cup side, and just kind of look at what's going on with what you can do. Maybe even give a little breakdown of a few of the race shops we visited. Definitely going to have to do a breakdown for Lancaster's Barbecue. Shout out to Lancaster's Barbecue. If you're in the Charlotte area, Mooresville is where it sits. It's Lancaster's Barbecue in Mooresville. Go by there. That is some of the most phenomenal food. And if you're a race fan, it is all NASCAR decor. The bathrooms are fuel cans that you have to step on a gas pedal to get the water to come out. You wash your hands. The sink is a Goodyear tire. Go there if you are in the Mooresville area. Looking for a good place to eat. You won't be disappointed. Very reasonably priced there as well. So, other than that, go follow, like, subscribe to everybody. My channels, everything. We also, before we jump off, forgot to mention, we do have a website, WTPSportsDudes.com, where you can find stuff. There is a WTP Sports Dudes on Patreon also. And these will all be uploaded there. This and the other ones we do will be uploaded to that channel as well. This will be uploaded to my channel. All the NASCAR stuff stays on my channel pretty much. And then I also, we have Spotify for the podcast. So if it becomes a series or something you're interested in and you're driving, can't tune in and watch it after the stream, I put it all on Spotify. My talks are under NASCAR Talks under the podcast tab. And then the WTP Sports Dudes 2026 is up there as well with the stuff we talk about on those pods, which are pretty much all kinds of different sports. Just a variety of sports we talk about there. But other than that, hope everybody enjoys their Thursday. I know most people are probably at work. I was on vacation this week, so hopefully y'all get home, get the notification, tune in, watch it, see what you like, and then catch up this weekend with the racing, and we'll be back tomorrow to go through some other stuff. Y'all have a good afternoon. As soon as I get this set.